Hey, what's going on? What you're looking at right now is my recently built modular system. Um, I don't know why I haven't really done a video on this yet, but I've been building this modular setup here, and I just built a new module today, so I figured why not make that be my video for Friday. I kind of want to go through this. It's the Rat King modular event. I've just been messing with it a little bit here. I just got it built like maybe an hour ago, and I'm a pretty big fan of it already. I haven't read the manual, I don't know what it does at all. But I've turned some knobs and I enjoy what I've heard. So, really, I'm just gonna jam around here. And sorry if you hear my cat scratching my carpet in the back. I'm just gonna jam around on it here. What I've got going on right now. I just have my envelope going to a mult over here, and that mult's getting split out. Obviously, going to the VCA, which my VCO is going straight into the filter, out of the filter into the VCA. So I have coming off the mult, the envelope, and then also coming out of the mult, I have the envelope going into the event. And let's see, I have the mult going back into the mult and two more patches, these two right here that are also the envelope going into the event, and it's coming out into the CV of the filter here. So it's pretty much just a whole patch for filter modulation, and I'm just going to mess around on this for a little bit, and then maybe I'll mess around with some other patches and see what I can do here, get any kind of weird sounds out of the event. But I just wanted to play around with what I'm playing around with right now, which is this interesting filter modulation that this thing is doing. And I'll switch some patches around over here, but really all the signal going into the event to trigger it is coming from the envelope. So yeah, we'll get to that. And I'm sequencing all of this with a TD3, and the TD3 is clocked to an RD6, which I'm just going to use for some minimal drum sounds. So let's do it. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. Oh, and I've also got the synth going through a DD7 digital delay. So there's that. And I've got some fuzz pedals hooked up, a couple custom fuzz pedals that a friend made, and I might flip those on or I might not, just letting you know. So yeah, as you can see, this thing does some pretty wild shit. It's very easy to get carried away. I may have gotten carried away there. Uh, it's really easy to just kind of get lost in the weird little rhythmic things that this thing does. Like I said, if I mean, I literally just built this. Didn't turn a single pot. I know there's a scale trim pot here. Didn't turn a single pot. I just built it and tried it out, and I've been fucking with it ever since. And I think it's really sick. And honestly, at this point, I don't even really care to know what it does. I like what it's doing. It does some really neat things. Although it would help to kind of know what's going on, to kind of shape sounds more. But it's fun to just explore and kind of figure out what's happening. I mean, there's just a few patch points and 3 knobs, so there's really not much going on. My cats are fighting. Get out of here! Get out of here! So it's always something. You let the cats downstairs and they go crazy. So yeah, let me get a different patch going on here, and we'll try something else instead of controlling the filter. Maybe we'll try to do something weird, like maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Let me patch around real quick, and I'll figure something out. Okay, so we're going to still do kind of the same thing here. I do want to control the VCA with it here in a second, but I just undid the patch for the envelope, so might as well try this. So what I've got going on here, I've just got the VCO square wave going into the filter, coming out of the filter to the mult. So the VCO with the filter is going to the mult and getting split out. Obviously that's going to my VCA, which is getting sent out. But now I'm sending control voltage to the filter with the oscillator post filter as the CV thing, the CV deal. So I'm just going to hit play and see what we can figure out here. Let me try to find some other kind of cool rhythm. so my general feeling from this is just because it's the same VCO going into the event, going back into the filter, there's not much area for change. So let's kind of go back to the way we had it set up here, which is where I'm going to, and I want to try to use the, oh shit. I want to try to use the envelope as control voltage again, but I want to use it as, I want the event to go into the VCA. So let's pull all this real quick. We'll do the audio into the VCA, and then the CV coming from the VCA, or going to the VCA for the envelope, is going to be coming out of the event. So we got the envelope going to the mult. Then we're going to do, I guess we can just patch kind of these points that I was playing with earlier that I was really liking the sound of. And then I've got this free patch here on my mult. We can figure out what to do with that in a second. I'll probably end up sending it to the filter, but right now I'm going to do it no CV to the filter, just so I can kind of get a feel for what this is doing before it hits the VCA for the envelope. So just once again, we got the envelope going to the mult's breaking it out into the event, and then the signal's coming out of the event into the VCA as the CV. So the envelope is going through the event before it hits the VCA, essentially. VCO, same thing, into the filter, out of the filter, straight into the VCA. So let's see what we can do here. So honestly, if I knew more about what this thing was doing, maybe this would do more in these modes. But for me personally, I think the winner for this module, and like I said, for me and what I've experienced so far, and I've only had an hour to 2 hours to play on this thing, is the filter modulation. So sending the envelope to it, and I just bought this blindly. I don't even know what the fuck it's really supposed to do, except make fucked up sounds, which I think is part of what it's supposed to do. So, oh boy. So, really for me, I feel like, patching this business as usual, kind of like VCO into the filter, or however you would typically patch things. I've been doing the filter into the VCA. You can patch anything in any way in Eurorack. It doesn't really matter. It's in music. You can patch anything anyway. If you want to put a fuzz after a delay, then go ahead and do it. You can get a cool effect that way. So VCO into the filter, filter into the VCA, and then I've got the envelope going to the mult, which is coming back into the VCA, and then just using the event and its signal out as a control voltage, and not even really sending. I think this is signal in right here. Not even really sending signal there. Just fucking with these other patch points. I do believe this messes with the whatever this knob is called, the onset. The duration, the onset, the height, and the duration. I'm not even really paying attention to what these are, but for me, this setup here is the winner for this module for me so far, and the things that I've tried, because the filter modulation, this thing modulating the filter does really ridiculous things. It's really, really cool, and I haven't even tried to send it into the retrigger of the envelope yet, or send it into the pulse width modulation. Let me just try it real quick. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. Let's try it in the FM. Let's mess with it. So it's doing some cool stuff. Going the envelope's still triggering here. It's doing some cool stuff going to the envelope. But yeah, let's patch it back into the filter and just comparatively see the kind of effect that I was getting with the event through there. To me, that's where it's the winner. I think this thing sounds fucking really cool, modulating the filter, and I'm sure I'll find other uses for it. But let's hear that again. My bad. And there you go. That was probably way too long. Fucking 30-minute video on the events. But you can see the filter section, in my opinion, way cooler. I'm sorry, using it as filter modulation, in my opinion, way cooler than anything else I can do with it in my system right now. And yeah, I've been DIYing this whole thing. I'll leave a link to the events. I got this from Synthro. The shipping was fast. It was clean. The build was easy. I'll leave a link to this in the description. And I've just got the panel for this dual mini sequencer kind of hooked up in here just so I rearranged some stuff earlier today to kind of get this to fit. And I'm halfway through building this. I accidentally bought 1/8 watt resistors instead of 1/4 watt because this uses 1/8 watt and I was in that headspace. Anyway, I've got like 3 resistors left to put on this before I can keep building. So I'm going to finish this up and then I'll probably end up doing a video on that. And, you know, my gear lust for Eurorack and building Eurorack has become insatiable. So I'm sure there will be more, and I'm sure this will be, there's probably like this much left in this rack, which is just some 2x4s I painted, you know, DIY till death. So I'll probably be upgrading to a bigger rack sometime soon. But I really wanted this sequencer because it's a relatively musical sequencer. I heard it's somewhat of a 303 type sequencer, which I love the sequencer on the 303, and if I could have one of those in this box so that I don't have to take my 303 with me and patch into this, that would be sick. So if I could just have a little 303 sequencer in here, that'd be great. So I'm still building the circuit board on this guy. When that's done, I'll probably do a video on it. I'm sure I'll love it or I'll hate it, you know? But I'll probably love it if it's supposed to be a 303 type sequencer, and it's such a small little rack unit. It's got 2 sequencers on it. Apparently you can patch them together. Anyway, really cool. This is the Rat King Modular event. I highly recommend it, especially for filter modulation. Maybe you have some other ideas with it. Like this was, you know, this is almost 40 minutes. I could have patched it into the CV mixer and then sent it out to other places, or, you know, done multiple types of CV control with it, but this was already way too long, and I'm probably going to continue doing this for the rest of the night. So check it out. So far, I love this module. I can't wait to find out what it's actually doing. That way I can kind of more accurately go after it. But, I mean, you kind of get the gist right there. It's a pretty sweet little module, and I am thoroughly impressed. I kind of bought it on a whim. I listened to a quick demo. I was like, yeah, that's very cool. Buy. And I did. And I don't really regret it. The first thing I did was put the VCO straight through it and have the VCO, or the VCO kind of get modulated by it. But the filter modulation is just, it's fucking so cool. So cool, man. And it's so seemingly random and in such a little footprint. Anyway, this is about to be this is a 40-minute video, roughly at this point. I'll probably trim it down a little bit, but I'm looking at 40 minutes. So I'm going to call it quits there. Rat King Modular event. Maybe I'll do a video on the dual mini sequencer. There will definitely be more modular videos coming soon as I grow this, because I can't fucking stop buying them and building them. So if you've never built modular before and you want to get into modular, maybe you've never built anything before, I would highly recommend picking up a DIY kit that comes with all the parts, figuring that out. It's not that hard. Soldering's not that hard. This is going to save you a shit ton of money. I think this was like, I don't know, 20 some bucks. And then I sourced the parts myself on Tata, which ended up, you know, costing nothing. It was very worthwhile. Like, this whole unit so far has probably cost me like somewhere around $300 or something, which is, you know, cheaper than maths. So, just consider that if you're trying to get into modular, but you think it's way too expensive. It's not, depending on how you go about it. So thank you for watching. This is it. Go pick up an event because I really like it. If you have a filter, you should have a vent. It's great. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye now.